Hello students, welcome once again to our biology class. And since we started chapter 3 and I had already informed you that we have divided this chapter into few parts. Okay, so previous video part 2 I had explained many terms, and this is part 3 of the ecosystem. So let's start. Okay, so what are we going to discuss in this video? That is, we'll learn about the forest ecosystem. Okay, so let me tell you in brief about this forest ecosystem. What do you mean by forest ecosystem, children? See, we'll start with the forest ecosystem, the definitions and the types and also the characteristics. Okay, so let's begin this ecosystem. So let me tell you and we'll learn what is a forest first. You all know this, that the forest is a community of trees, shrubs, herbs and associated plants and organisms that cover a considerable area that use oxygen, water and soil nutrients as the community attains maturity and reproduces itself. So this is the definition of a forest. Okay, it's a large area of land covered by tall trees and may have dense undergrowth of bushes and shrubs. Forests cover about 30% of the earth's land surface and account for over 75% of its biomass. You can see here that since we are discussing, we'll learn the forest ecosystem. So let me tell you that forest is one of the main resources in our world, right? Nearly it occupies 40% of the world's land area, total land area, it occupies 40%. And in India, 19% of the land is occupied by the forest. Okay. Now, since already you have learned about the ecosystem, no? Like an ecosystem can be defined as a community that is relatively self-contained. So, similarly, a forest ecosystem is also a type of ecosystem that is distinct with distinct boundaries. We will clearly be able to see where the forest ecosystem begins and where it ends. Okay, so we all know that a forest ecosystem comprises all the plants, animals and microorganisms in a forest interacting with the abiotic component of the environment as a functional unit. Okay, and in a forest ecosystem, children, a variety of plants and their size and longevity determine the types of other organisms that flourish there to a great extent. Now we can see here on the screen it is displayed the components of a forest. Okay, different layers are there and later on you will study about this. Okay, so just have a look at the diagram here which is displayed on the screen. We can see the forest ecosystem, then we can see the different categories, the geologic substrate, you can see the deep soil, then comes the soil surface, upper soil, then understory, then lower canopy, mid canopy and the upper canopy. So these are the different layers of the forest. Okay, so let's move now. Okay, now let's learn about the types of forest ecosystem. Types of forest ecosystem. See children, forest ecosystems can be classified in various ways. Okay, it is classified as evergreen and deciduous. You might have studied in geography and other subjects like in the primary classes and all. You might have already studied about the evergreen forest and the deciduous forest. No, brief idea you might be having. But so here we'll learn little in detail. We'll learn. Okay. So see, since these forest ecosystems, they are classified into two categories. That is, basically it is categorized into evergreen and deciduous. Okay, so what are evergreen forests? We'll learn what are evergreen forests. These forests, they appear to be green all the time, sadabahar, hare bhare hote hain, है ना? Because they consist mainly of the trees that do not shed their leaves at the same time, है ना? ये हरे भरे लगे रहते हैं ऐसे, ठीक है, एवरग्रीन, है ना. नेक्स्ट इज द डेसिडस फॉरेस्ट. व्हाट आर डेसिडस फॉरेस्ट? हाउ टू डिफाइन देम? These forests they appear bare during the dry season, है ना. पतझड़ जब ड्राई सीजन होता है तो सारे लीव्स जो हैं इनके शेड हो जाते हैं ना. तो ये जो इस तरीके के जो फॉरेस्ट होते हैं जिसमें ऐसे ट्रीज होते हैं, they are known as deciduous forests. So once again we'll just learn it. What are they? They appear bare during the dry season when most of the trees shed all their leaves. Okay. Now, forests can also be classified according to the latitudes at which they are found and the types they have. That is, whether the leaves are broad-leaved, coniferous or mixed. मतलब इसमें क्या है कि upon the location and the position, okay, of different latitudes and all, they are found in various forms. Some they bear the leaves of those trees, they are broad-leaved. Some they have coniferous, some they are mixed. Okay, so these are the different classification based according to the latitudes where they are found, okay, where their position is located. Next, according to this system of classification, forests are of three types. Please listen to it carefully. Forests are of three types on this classification, like the broad-leaved, the coniferous or the mixed, based upon the different latitudes. Okay, so they are divided into three types. One is the tropical, the other is the temperate, and the other one is the boreal. So these are the three different classification of forest. Now let me in brief explain you what are tropical forest. Okay, so tropical forest, these forests are found mainly near the equator. They are found, okay, extending up to the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. कहाँ होते हैं ये? इक्वेटर के पास होते हैं, थोड़ा सा extending up to the Tropic of Cancer and also towards the Tropic of Capricorn. And tropical forests are of three types. Further, they are again classified into three different types. They are tropical rainforest, tropical deciduous forest, and tropical thorn forest. Okay. So next category is the temperate forest. What are temperate forest? Temperate forest, children, they are फाउंड बिटवीन द ट्रॉपिक्स एंड द पोलर रीजन्स. इक्वेटर को छोड़कर, है ना. तो ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर या ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न से लेके पोलर रीजन्स तक ये फॉरेस्ट जो है फाउंड, ये वहाँ पाए जाते हैं. सो दे आर नोन एज टेम्परेट फॉरेस्ट. ओके, एंड दीज फॉरेस्ट कैन बी ऑफ टू टाइप्स. So the previous one we had studied about three types. Okay, they were of three types. The tropical forest, temperate forest are of two types. What are the types? Temperate over evergreen and temperate deciduous. Okay, now next comes the boreal forest. What are the boreal forests? The boreal forests, they grow in the coldest possible climate for trees and are found in the subarctic and subalpine regions of the world. Large stretches of boreal forest are found in Canada, Siberia and Scandinavia. These forests are also called taiga. The trees are mostly evergreen conifers and they include the species. किस तरह के trees होते हैं? Mainly spruce, fir, pine, etc. Okay, so these are the three different categories of the forest. So once again just revise: tropical forest, टेम्परेट फॉरेस्ट एंड बोरियल फॉरेस्ट. इसमें आपको क्या पढ़ना है कि ये कहाँ पाए जाते हैं, कितने टाइप्स के होते हैं, कौन सी कैटेगरी है. दिस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. ओके, सो इन दिस यू हैव टू लर्न दिस. नाउ नेक्स्ट, द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट. इसके क्या इम्पोर्टेंस है, क्या रोल प्ले करते हैं फॉरेस्ट हमारी लाइफ में, है ना, हम सबकी लाइफ में. सी, some economic and environmental uses of forests are follows, which is you'll be learning it now. See, we know that forests, they are the main source of livelihood, है ना. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमें फॉरेस्ट से मिलती है ना. जैसे ट्रीज जो होते हैं, प्लांट्स जो होते हैं, दे प्रोवाइड अस विद variety, numerous things, okay, such as timber, medicine, latex, oils, fuel, honey and many other things. They regulate the climate by bringing down the temperature and also the rainfall. They maintain the balance of the gases in the air and also helps in absorbing dust, and they also control the pollution. Cleaners कहते हैं ना forest को, जो trees होते हैं, they are the cleaners of the environment, no? How they create a balance, no, between the gases and all. They take in carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. So these are how they regulate all these things, okay? They check the soil erosion and help recharge the groundwater level. They are the home to innumerable species. बहुत सारे जो living जो organisms हैं, they provide home to these species, the forest, okay? See, now let's learn about, so since we know that the forests are, what is significance is there, okay, and what important role do they play, so we need to conserve this forest, isn't it? हमें इनको बचाना है ना, इसीलिए कहते हैं stop cutting the trees, isn't it? Plant, regrow the trees, plant more trees. तो forestation, afforestation, deforestation, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम लोग ऑलरेडी पढ़ते हैं ना. तो what is the main concept behind it? That we need to conserve this forest for our future, okay? Now we can see how we can conserve the forest. The felling of forest trees must be regulated. Also the saplings must be planted to replace the felled trees. अगर हम काटते हैं तो उसकी जगह हमें saplings grow करनी चाहिए, है ना. Then shifting cultivation, it is the practice of clearing a part of forest for cultivation and then moving on to a new part when the soil loses its fertility. जब soil की fertility ख़त्म हो जाती है तो फिर हम cultivation को shift करते हैं. तो ये एक process जो है ये हमें practice में लाना चाहिए. This practice must be discouraged. क्या जो shifting cultivation है ये practice है कि clearing a part of forest for cultivation and then moving on to a new part when the soil loses its fertility. तो ये जो shifting cultivation है, इस practice को हमें discourage करना चाहिए, इसको encourage हमें नहीं करना चाहिए. Adequate protective and preventive measures should be taken against forest fires. जो आए दिन लग जाते हैं ना, जैसे forest में आग वगैरह लग जाते हैं, तो इनके लिए हमें protective और preventive measures लेने चाहिए ना, to prevent these kind of incidents. Grazing in forest should be discouraged as it destroys seedlings and small plants. जो जानवर जो herbivores होते हैं वो इन पे they feed on these seedlings and small plants. This also should be prevented, okay? So this is what. Now let's learn a little bit of significance of the wildlife. चूँकि हमें forest को बचाना है तो naturally हमें similarly हमें wildlife को भी protect करना है, okay? So we are used to looking upon the benefits of forest and wildlife from the economic point of view. Well, even from that point of view, it is important to conserve wildlife. हमें जैसे forest हमने बचाया, हमें wildlife को भी save करना है. If a country thinks in terms of gaining by exporting timber or attracting tourists, what when the forests are gone or the animals have become extinct? अगर ये लुप्त हो जाएंगे, endangered हो जाएंगे, extinct हो जाएंगे, तो फिर हमें क्या benefit मिल सकता है ना? So from the environmental point of view, each species plays its own role in an ecosystem, क्योंकि हर किसी का interdependence जो है काफ़ी important है, okay? So it is also linked to several others through food chains and other relations. Destroying or depleting the population of one species can have an impact on several others. Next, okay. So till here, we would wind up the session here. And whatever things you have learned in this chapter, my dear children, please go through it, revise it, okay? Do read your chapter well, then only you will be able to relate the terms and you will be understanding it more, okay? And then whatever highlighted terms are there, several definitions are there, please go through it, okay? All the 3 videos of this chapter, please understand it well, read the chapter well, and then you will definitely will do better, okay? So thank you for watching. May you stay safe and healthy. Keep learning and exploring till we meet, okay? Thank you once again.